Hi students, Assalamu alaikum. This is Wahid Yusuf. Today we shall discuss the literary devices of the poem again, as we discussed the literary poetic devices yesterday, and we discussed the first seven stanzas of this poem, and we observed so many literary devices being employed in this poem by Ogden Nash, and today we shall resume that topic of literary devices, finding literary devices in this poem from stanza 8. And yesterday we saw certain literary devices used in the poem: alliteration, hyperbole, allusion. Even we find consonants, assonance, we find similes, metaphors, personifications, and we also find refrain, we also find repetition. So all these poetic devices we find in the poem up to stanza 7, which we discussed yesterday. See, we shall start with stanza 8 today, and stanza 8 is this. These are four lines: pistol in his left hand, pistol in his right, and he held in his teeth a cutlass bright. His beard was black, one leg was wood. It was clear that the pirate meant no good. See, cutlass means a short sword, or we can simply say a knife with curved blades. See, the poetic devices which we find in this stanza are: first, rhyme scheme is ABB, and we find alliteration. We find alliteration in this stanza, that is this: beard, black is are two words which start with b sound. They start with b sound. So this is what alliteration is. So the sound b, and this sound h. This is h, sound, and this is b. This is b sound. So two words in this line. He has three words rather. He held his. He held his. That three words start with h sound, and then this beard and black, the words start with b sound. So that is alliteration, and we find imagery in this stanza. This an image is created about the appearance of the pirate, how he looked. He had pistols in his hands and he had a wooden leg. That is what images are produced in this poem. Images are created in this stanza. And then we have another stanza, that is this ninth stanza. Belinda paled as she cried, "Help, help!" But Mustard fled with a terrified yelp. Ink trickled down to the bottom of the household, and little Mouse blinked tragically mousehold. This is stanza 9, and the poetic devices used here is simply repetition is used here, and we have this device of irony is used here, device of irony, because Belinda is shown here that she paled. Otherwise we believed that Belinda was brave, because she would say that she is brave and she's a barrel full of beers. But here she cried for help, help, and a barrel, one who is as brave as barrel full of beers, cannot cry for help. And here this irony is there. The element of irony is in this stanza, when Belinda paled and cried for help, and again she cried for help. So these two terms, that is a repetition, and this irony is used in this stanza. Then we have this very stanza, that is stanza 10, 10th stanza. And in 10th stanza we have some elements of poetic devices. Some poetic devices are used here, some literary elements are used here. See, but up jumped Custard, snorting like an engine. Here, a simile has been used here. Sound of dragon is compared with sound of engine. That is why it has been written like this, snorting like an engine. Snorting like an engine. And here, clashed his tail clashed his tail like irons in a dungeon. So again, simile has been used here. And here, he went at the pirate like a robin at the worm. So he attacked, the dragon's attack on pirate is compared to Robin Bird, is compared to Robin, just like Robin Bird attacks the worm. It is compared like that. It is compared to that. And we have this onomatopoeic sounds, that is clatter, clang. So these are what onomatopoeic sounds are, which I already defined what are onomatopoeic sounds. And we have imagery here, as the attack by the dragon is expressed in a way to make images in our mind, that we have that snorting of an engine, so one image, dungeon is another image, and that robin, worm, etc., these are images. So this is a stanza 10th. Then we have 11th stanza, the pirate. Yes, this is 11th stanza, sorry. The pirate gaped at Belinda's dragon and gulped some grog from his pocket flagon. He fired two bullets, they didn't hit, and Custard gobbled him every bit. So here, alliteration, we can find alliteration here. This gulped grog. So the sound g, the sound g is repeated here in the initial, at the in the beginning of the words, that is gulped and grog, that is alliteration. And imagery again used here in this stanza. See, they have shown the reactions and actions made by the pirate on seeing the dragon, what he does. See, pocket flagon, see a grog, all these are images used in the stanza. And then we have another stanza. In this stanza, we have a technique, we have a poetic device employed here, that is assonance. Poetic device of assonance, repetition of vowel sounds, repetition of vowel sounds. See, no one mourned. So here the sound o is repeated. And here, ink, blink in, ink, blink in, glee, did, guided. So the vowel sound I is repeatedly used here. It is repeated in 2 or 3 words here. So that is vowel sound I and vowel sound O is repeated in these words. So that is the technique of assonance has been employed in this stanza. That is stanza 12. This is stanza 13, and in stanza 13 we have these 3 words that forms the technique of repetition. That is spoke, spoken, spoke. It has been repeated in this stanza. And we have another technique has been used here, that is also a repetition. Have been has been used repeated in this stanza as well. And the rest of the 2 stanzas, that is stanza 14th and 15, stanza 14 and 15, that is these stanzas are refrain. These stanzas are refrain. That is the first stanzas are repeated, first 2 stanzas are repeated again, and they form a refrain in this poem. This is: Belinda still lives in her little white house with her little black kitten and her little gray mouse and her little yellow dog and her little red wagon and her really trulio little pet dragon. 1. Belinda is as brave as a barrel full of beers, and ink and blank chase lines down the stairs. Mustard is as brave as a tiger in rage, but Custard keeps crying for a nice safe cage. So we have alliteration, sorry, a simile. We have simile here, and we have this rhyme, the effect of these words to create rhyme, etc. So all these, we have discussed these poetic devices in the first two stanzas. So the poetic devices which we find in first two stanzas are already in these two stanzas also, because they are repetition, they are refrain. These two stanzas are repeated at the last in the poem. The first two stanzas are the same stanzas which are the last two stanzas of the poem. So that is it for today, and tomorrow we'll come up with another lecture. Have a nice day, and thank you.